I am joined by the preeminent sports media critic, the best sports media reporter in all the land, that is Ryan Glasspiegel of Front Office Sports. And usually around this time, I try to deliver a little TV style monologue, but Ryan and I have such a rapport, and I know we are so loquacious that let's just start bringing them on. Let's get into the
Let's
topics.
go.
Yeah, because we have a big topic here, Ryan. We have
Yes.
the biggest news story in America, an epidemic, if you will, of neon green dildos being thrown at WNBA games, and it cannot be stopped, Ryan. I mean, recently, I think we are on incident number 7 of this crazy thing. Oh, I forgot to do the whole thing. One second. You guys can ask questions. I forgot to. I'm overly excited to talk about this green dildo topic. You guys can ask questions via the Zoom. Yada yada yada. You know. Okay, so the latest example occurred on August 7th, 2025, during a game between the Chicago Sky and the Atlanta Dream at Wintrust Arena in Chicago. 2 additional sex toys were thrown onto the court during the third and fourth quarters.
I hate to correct you. One was thrown on the court. One didn't make it to the court.
Oh, this is a very important correction.
Look, we're nothing if not peak journalists here,
Yes.
and we have to hold ourselves accountable to high
Oh,
standards. Go on.
humiliating for me to get that detail wrong. I'm glad you corrected me. I needed that correction. So this is a crazy story. There's an aspect of mystery to it, and it would appear, Ryan, that there is reporting that suggests all of this is part of some sort of crypto meme coin pump scheme to garner attention. So while there's a reaction to it saying this is misogyny, this is sexism, this is people who hate women in sports, it would appear that maybe this is just a way to garner a bunch of attention towards cynical ends, and there's nothing personal about it. To give one more detail, and maybe we can throw up on the screen if Trace would help us out, there's betting on this right now. Apparently, I didn't know this. You can just bet out there on criminal behavior, polymarket odds. There are polymarket odds currently on whether this is going to happen again in future games. And I think the most famous incident might have been Sophie Cunningham, regarded as the most attractive player in the WNBA. She said on Twitter that this needs to stop, and it happened to her. She got
hit with one.
Yeah, and I guess what I'm setting up, and we can maybe even throw that up on the screen. We might have a video of that. I'm making Trace really hustle over here. If you have the Sophie Cunningham gets neon green dildo, I think she handled it wonderfully, by the way. It's not every day you say something like that.
Something just came onto the floor.
Yep. And Kelsey Plum,
got an object that
very
just
talented, multi-sport talent, just kicked it away like she could have been a soccer star. Cunningham then said that tweet didn't age well. And to set you up for this all, Ryan, I think that one is interesting because she said basically to stop, then she was targeted. And apparently what happened to her in a way wasn't personal, perhaps. It's just part of this whole scheme, and this is the easiest way to get attention. I'm saying a lot. What say you?
Well, you mentioned that it's an epidemic, so maybe we need to shut the league down for 3 weeks to stop the spread.
Maybe we need to shut up about it. We're part of the problem. If they're trying to get attention through doing this,
it's a very 2025 story because I mean, a week or two ago, we never could have fathomed how much time and energy would get spent on this. And now all of a sudden it's leading the news. I mean, Front Office Sports is where I work has written several stories about it. Margaret Fleming talked to these like green dildo meme coin pumpers and I'd say that 5 times fast, but it's really crazy because you can do this criminally mischievous thing and then use it to inflate the attention and therefore theoretical value of this currency that you just create out of thin air. I mean, I know the crypto people are going to like come after me. I've never understood any of it. I especially don't understand how anyone, can we just make like a House of Glass meme coin and then have it get pumped? Like, is that how does someone just make their own currency and then people decide how valuable it is? It's very strange.
Strange, and it has no intrinsic value. I know people would argue that Bitcoin does have an intrinsic value because of its scarcity. I don't want to get into all of that, but clearly a lot of this is just garnering attention, pump and dump. And it's interesting because on its face, initially it looks like this is an act of misogyny. Like Carrie, where they throw the red paint on her, some sort of 80s movie where these women are being bullied by these crass sexists. But instead, it's this other thing that's not necessarily better than that and might even be worse, where people have an understanding that you can game the attention economy by acting in a maladaptive, antisocial way, because that's shocking. And I know this story right here, there's an aspect where it's just funny on the face of it, but that part of it and that social trend, I don't think it's great. I'm not going to say it's not funny, but I think it's bad. And I've seen examples of it in a few different places. Trace, could you pull up the example of just some kid yelling at Charles Barkley and being a jerk? Because I think it's a good example of what I'm talking about here and what's going on in the culture.
With no championship rings. He sucked at basketball. 0 rings. He has 0 rings. You're Jordan's son. Imagine not winning an NBA championship.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's what's happening. That guy doesn't hate Charles Barkley any more than these crypto meme pushers, pumpers, whatever we want to think of them. They might not even hate women or hate the WNBA. It's similar to where, I mean, the analogy I would make is if I took a dump in a church, not me, I don't want myself to be in this analogy. If somebody took a dump in a church on live stream, there would be this initial assumption that they hate Christianity. But actually, in this modern era, Ryan, it would be that this is the easy way to get attention because they're doing something sacrilegious, and that's why they're doing something antisocial. This seems to be another example of it. I'm not trying to stop this kind of thing, Ryan.
Well, there's another fascinating element that you sort of alluded to with the betting on Polymarket about like which color dildo will be thrown on the court next. Now, the Polymarket and Bet Online, which I believe are the two books that have been getting publicity for offering the odds, are offshore books and they're not illegal. But there is like a Polymarket competitor called Kalshi, which hasn't put these odds up, but does have a lot of like similar markets where they could be manipulated by somebody who is placing the bet or by a proxy. And so, what does it say that there are betting markets about which color dildo is going to get thrown on the court next when you can go into an arena and be the one who settles that market?
Is it too much to ask? I know sometimes the purview of these things aren't necessarily happening within the United States. Is it too much to ask that these markets not incentivize illegal behavior? Is it impossible? Can we do that without violating free speech to prevent betting markets that clearly incentivize somebody to do something illegal?
I don't know if you want these things getting like a regular. I mean, there is these markets are honestly in a regulation push and pull right now because Kalshi has tried. They are in all 50 states, and a number of regulators in states with legal gambling are trying to get it banned. So there is a question of that, although it's not necessarily are we allowing illegal markets up, as these sports books and the states that accept taxes from them don't really want the competition. But I don't know. It's a very hard question. I'm glad I'm not the societal arbiter who has to decide that.